Wow. Okay. I really don't know what to say because I literally just finished reading this chapter of Boku no Hero Academia 161. So like, not only is my head spinning on a loop right now, it's literally okay. Um, you know what? The first thing that I have to say is for you people that say there's no stakes in Boku no Hero, read chapter 161, please. Like, these people that say there really is no consequences and stakes, they just got to read the evidence. But aside from that, like, obviously I'm sad, and I'm that Nighteye is dead. But I'm kind of happy as well in the sense that like in the future of this series, when you look back on this arc, you're like, wow, all of that stuff happened. Like there were real consequences of this arc, and we saw them being carried out. So yeah, in the sense of that, then I'm happy of what happened. But man, I'm sad. Of course, I'm sad. Night Owl was actually an amazing character. Like, not gonna lie, I really loved him, and I feel like just of all the people to go, it had to be him. Like, it couldn't have been anyone else, but it really is gut-wrenching. And you know what really got me? Of course it was the Mirio. That really got me, but I think it was actually the All Might and Sir Nighteye, because sometimes it's best when things are left not said or things are left not delved into, so it's just for our imagination and our emotions and thoughts to run wild. So like, just me thinking about imagining the relationship between All Might and Sir Nighteye, if you just, because obviously Horikoshi really hasn't delved into that deeply, so all we know is that Sir Nighteye was All Might's sidekick, and they obviously had a great relationship, a sensei kind of student relationship, kind of similar to like Sir Nighteye and Mirio now, or like All Might and Deku now, kind of like that. But we don't know. We haven't had so much exposure to that. We as the readers, we haven't seen a lot of that. So it's kind of crazy how it's evoking such feelings, because we know that they had a strong bond. So when All Might's coming in and you see All Might crying, I'm like, yo, when everyone was crying in this chapter, I was just like, Horikoshi, what you doing to me right now? Like, this is sad. You are seeing Mirio coming in crying, Deku, oh man, it was literally gut-wrenching as well. And the fact that I love it because Sir Nighteye, he died on his deathbed smiling, and that's just the whole epitome of his character, the whole fact that he loves jokes and humor, and he was saying how a hero always has to smile. And that really does hit volumes, because that is one of the main key things in Boku no Hero, that you as a hero, you have to smile to keep the fears out. Smile to put that stability, to put that peace in the eyes of the civilians. So it really is, like, that really was, like, the feels are right there. And I'm just thinking, like, oh my gosh, like, this is actually happening. Like, I'm just thinking, this is the first death of a hero in Boku no Hero Academia. I believe so. In the current timeline that we've been going through, this is the first death. Yeah, it is, because if you think about all the other times in previous arcs, then there hasn't necessarily been deaths to heroes. It's been more like loss of quirks, or like being paralyzed and all that kind of stuff. So this is the actual first real death. That is Sir Nighteye, All Might's sidekick, former sidekick, Mirio's teacher, Deku's teacher for a little bit. I was just like, wow, like, oh man, it really is sad. And what really got me was a couple of pages back, because I've still got a chapter up now. I literally just read it. You know what? Actually, I just gotta say one thing. I don't know if this is quite significant, but on page 16, when Sir Nighteye's looking at Mirio, and he's actually looking into Mirio's future. At first, because of his eye, I remember that's what his eye looks like when he activates his quirk, but it really gave me vibes of All Might. Like, because All Might, his eyes, they're blacked out. That's how Horikoshi draws him. But yeah, I'll get to that part of the whole looking into Mirio's future in a sec. But like, the page when you see just Sir Nighteye on the deathbed, and you're seeing all these like tubes going into him, I was just like, rah. And it kind of, from last chapter, first of all, this chapter and the chapter last week, it's just like two different parallels. Like, it's literally like two different tones. It's unbelievable. But like, I don't know, I feel like I'm more satisfied in what Shigaraki did to Overhaul last chapter now that I'm seeing this. Now that I'm seeing what Overhaul actually did to all these heroes. the overhaul, you can say, this is the thing. Like, I said it a couple of reviews ago. I said that, pardon me. I said that obviously that the heroes won, but it's not a win to be proud of. Like, they still took losses back, and I've overhaul dealt them a massive loss. They overhaul dealt them a massive loss. The fact that he took out a hero like permanently and took out a hero's quirk as well. So that's kind of crazy to actually, as a villain, to see what he did that. And I think that puts him definitely up in the rankings of how awesome of a villain he is. I know there's a massive debate between who's better, Overhaul or Stain. It might, I don't know. I think if I had to say it here, I think it's different because I said that you can only rank on who's better depending on the impact that they made in the series, and what Stain's done has been madness. But I think as a villain, I think Overhaul is better as a villain than Stain. But as a character who initiated change and like did something to society, then I think Stain wins on that front. But yeah, let me not go on that tangent anyway. So as we can see, you know, so obviously Nighteye, his arm was gone. We saw that. And then you just see him on the bed, and it's just like tubes coming into his abdomen like from everywhere. He's all plugged up to all these machines and everything. You know that he's not gonna survive. Like, it's just crazy. And I really did love how All Might did come. Obviously they didn't get to talk much, which is a little bit sad. I know how I was saying how there was a beauty in Horikoshi not delving into it, because it's kind of left to our imaginations. But you know, it really did get presented as such a phenomenal thing, you know, as like, oh, this is All Might psychic. Yeah, we really didn't know much about them two. But either way, it really is what it is. I honestly, as this is the first death, I'm really intrigued to see how this is going to impact the series. Is it going to be like, okay, Nightheye's dead, yeah, everyone's going to be sad, but it's not going to hold weight in like 100 chapters. We need to see what this really is going to be like. I'm really intrigued to see how this is going to affect all the characters, especially Mirio. Like, literally, in this chapter, Mirio basically said, I was good. I only got good because of you. He basically said, without you, I could not be a hero. Without you, I was nothing. That's basically what he says. So the whole fact that Mirio pinned himself so much on the Nighteye, it's going to be so interesting to see how Mirio's going to get through it in the future. And we know that there's a massive debate, especially with Eri's quirk right now. How, like, the whole possibility of Mirio's quirk not actually being gone, but just being rewound. Rewound? Is that a word, or is it rewinded? Yeah, that. So I don't know. I think I'm kind of leaning to the truth of that. I'm kind of agreeing with that now, because from this chapter as well, so now I basically looks into the future and says, you are becoming a... What did he say? Let me just bring up that page. But he literally looks into the future, smiles, and says, it will be alright. You are becoming an outstanding hero. Now, you can take that from two ways. You can interpret that as, regardless of a quirk, Mirio is still going to be an amazing hero. Like, let's say Mirio doesn't get his quirk back. He will still be in heroics, where he will be a policeman, a civics officer, or just like just like a vigilante kinda, like just on fighting crooks on the street. I made a video about this. I'll probably put it in the links, or maybe I'll put it as a card or whatever. But it was basically what Mirio can be. So either that scenario, or actually, you know, the fact that Mirio's quirk has been rewounded, in 4 years it will come back. And, you know, then maybe Mirio would have to bring it back up, and then he'll be greater than ever. Maybe it'll be something like that. So either way, there is hope that Mirio will still be in the story, in the limelight of heroics. That is amazing. And then aside from that, you know, what I did think was really interesting to talk about was actually Eri. And I don't know what to take from this. I wouldn't say it's... what's it called? A great conclusion. I don't know. The state that Eri's in right now, it leaves you. It begs you to question. It leaves you kind of in a state of like, not curiosity, but leaves you in a state of like, what's the word? It's anticlimactic in the sense, because, you know, she's not truly... This is what a lot of us viewed. This is what I've personally viewed as well. I think all of us envisioned that, yes, Eri would be saved. She would be, you know, I don't know, adopted or something. Like, she would be put in safe care, and she'll be all well, smiles all around, and, you know, she'll be kind of staying in the story. She'll be like a little sister of the series. She'll be like a little Kota, you know, like, she'll write letters to Deck and all that kind of stuff. Like, she'll be, you know, she'll be a fan favorite kind of stuff. Like, she'll be safe. But the fact that she's just basically in a comatose state right now. She hasn't woken up. Her fever hasn't gone down. She's been quarantined. It doesn't necessarily make you feel happy about this, in the sense, like, it doesn't make you feel like, oh, we've rescued her, you know, everything's amazing, because in a sense she really isn't. All that has been done is she's moved away from harm, but she's not really living in 100% right now. So it really does make you feel like this, really and truly, the ending of this arc was very bittersweet. If that's the word that I was looking for. This really is bittersweet, because you're happy that, you know, a resolution did occur, that Overhaul did get defeated, but we got some losses, a death, Eri being comatose right now, and the whole fact that basically Hero Society, obviously using through the words of Isaiah Sensei, basically says we can't rely on her. And this is kind of speaks on a bigger thing about Boku no Hero. The whole fact about the whole fact about, if you've got a quirk and you're a hero, you're of use to society and you're of use to the government, because remember, heroes get paid by the government. So the whole fact that it says, in other words, we can't rely on her quirk, that also speaks volumes to us. I know a lot of us were saying how, like, Eri's basically going to be the next version of Recovery Girl, but OP. It's the whole fact that she can't benefit them, because truly, they don't know how to train it, because literally, they feel like if they get in contact with her, they're just going to be rewinded out of existence. So it really seems like she's kind of like from X-Men Jean Grey, kind of in the sense of how, like, she's too powerful and we don't really know how to control her, we don't know how to use her, we don't know how to rely on her. So how's she going to benefit us? It seems like they're going to be, just safe to say, they're going to put her in a quarantine state, and this is really sad for her character, in my opinion. I feel like all we wanted for Eri was just a safe haven, a home for her to be in, or where she can be loved and taken care of. But the fact that she's now in a comatose state, you know, it really is bittersweet. So I don't know. Only time can tell. I'm really intrigued with what Horikoshi is going to do with this. But also, it just really does make me so happy with what Horikoshi is doing, you know, like how it's not being a stereotypical ending how we hoped for, and it's not being a stereotypical ending how it could have been, in the sense of how, like, not how everyone wasn't saved, you know. There's many injuries, there's many consequences, and this is life. It's realistic, it's grounded, you know. And that's what's amazing. So when you do look back on this arc, like when I look back after this chapter, because one of the pages, there's a panel where Nighteye is talking about the future and all that kind of stuff, and you see little panels throughout the arc, and I'm just thinking, wow, this arc was intense. Like, in one word, this arc literally was intense. Like, just thinking back on all the things that happened, Mirio, Kirishima, like, Sun Eater, Amajaki, all of that kind of stuff. You're just thinking so many things happened at once. It's just crazy. A lot really did go on, and it just makes you feel like, I wouldn't say the feeling's cathartic. It's just really bittersweet. I know I've been saying that a lot, but that's kind of the truth about that. But, you know, I guess I'm probably gonna end it off on here. Just before I go about, before I leave it, I just want to talk about the fact how now I'm talking about the future. So this whole thing's been a theme, and you know how Midoriya showed me a way. So I'm trying to understand this. Is the whole fact that basically Mirio, this whole thing, how they managed to change the future, did this all come about just by determination? Literally, it says, looking back, I think it was all about energy, a future that you strongly wish for. I'm sure Midoriya is not the only one. I think everyone believes so strongly in a single future that it all just joined together. So it's all just like all their will, that they all wanted one thing to happen, and that's how that's the thing that happened. Is it like that? Intriguing, to say the least. Very intriguing. But yeah, it's just sad, man. That's all I can say. Guys, please tell me your thoughts on what you thought about this about this chapter in the comments below. What I really did love, what I thought was pretty cool, is how basically one of the last, we know how much Sir Nighteye cared for Mirio. When Mirio first lost his quirk and Sir Nighteye realized this, you know, Sir Nighteye came and hugged him and that. And he says here, you held such admiration for me and believed in me. And before I knew it, you became my most treasured student. Because bear in mind, he admits it to himself. I only took you on because I thought you were a fitting vessel. So that's kind of something. Like, we know it. Like, when Sir Nighteye first spoken to Deku, Sir Nighteye was just like, you're not worthy for All Might's quirk. Like, that's what he said. And it seemed like that was all on his mind. But the relationship between Sonata and Mirio that grew into something, a fatherly son kind of relationship. So it's really sad. I'm so intrigued. It's gonna be so sad. Like Mirio's like when Mirio cried, I was just like, wow, okay, nah, I'm done. Like Horikoshi, you have finished me today. So guys, that is enough for me. Wow. Good night, Nighteye. Good night. Guys, please tell me your thoughts in the comments below what you thought about this chapter. If you liked anything that I say, please drop a like. That would be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you next week for like greatness. That is chapter 162. Peace out, guys. This is Shinigami Sam, and goodbye.